You think you know yourself, but you don't. Most people live their entire lives as total strangers to their own minds. They are completely blind to the hidden forces driving every single choice they make. They don't respond to life, they just react. They get triggered by the exact same situations over and over again. Then they wonder why they stay trapped in the same cycles. They face constant frustration, anxiety, and deep disappointment. Here's the brutal truth you need to hear today. If you do not understand your own emotional patterns, you are not in control of your life. Your unchecked emotions are running the show. Until you build real emotional intelligence, you will just be a passenger in your own body. You will keep wondering why true success feels so far away. You will wonder why your personal relationships never reach their full potential. This is not another feel-good video filled with toxic positivity. This is a deep dive into the hard science of emotional intelligence. We are focusing on the practical, real-world systems you need. These tools will help you finally understand yourself at a deep level. By the time you finish listening, you will have a complete framework for emotional self-mastery. This is a blueprint that most people will never discover. But something already separates you from the crowd. You are here right now. You are actively listening. You are about to learn something that will fundamentally change how you move through the world. Welcome to Elite Summaries. If you want to master your mind and unlock your true potential, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's begin our journey into self-mastery. The average human being experiences over 27,000 distinct emotions every single day. That is a massive amount of internal data. Yet most people can only identify and name about 12 of them accurately. Think about that for a moment. You are flooded with a constant stream of emotional information. This data is meant to guide your daily decisions. It is designed to help you understand your deepest motivations. It shows you exactly what you need to thrive. But instead, you are functionally blind to 99% of your own internal world. This is not just an unfortunate habit, it is completely devastating to your human potential. Emotional ignorance acts as a silent killer of achievement. It explains why incredibly smart people make terrible life choices. It explains why highly capable individuals constantly sabotage their own success. It is the reason why people with every single advantage still struggle to build a happy life. The root problem starts very early in our development. Our education systems teach us complex algebra, but they never teach us how to recognize when our minds are completely overwhelmed. We memorize ancient history, but we never learn how to identify the physical difference between fear and excitement in our bodies. We learn how to calculate the distance to the stars, but we remain completely lost when navigating the distance between our own hearts and minds. Because we lack this foundational education, we enter adulthood completely unprepared. We carry heavy, unresolved emotional wounds into our careers. We project our internal confusion onto every relationship we build. We make major career choices based on unconscious fears. We choose romantic partners based on unexamined emotional needs. We build an entire life on top of patterns we do not even know exist. The true cost of this ignorance is staggering. Emotionally unaware people constantly underperform. They live with sky-high levels of stress, anxiety, and hidden depression. Their relationships are volatile, fragile, and deeply unsatisfying. They make impulsive, short-sighted decisions that derail years of hard work. They struggle with basic consistency because they do not understand their own motivation. But the most tragic cost is the loss of identity. Unaware people never become who they are truly capable of being. They live their whole lives as a minor version of themselves. They are held back by their own emotional blindness. The psychological research on this topic is absolutely clear. People with high emotional intelligence earn significantly more money. They build deeply satisfying relationships. They experience far less physical stress. They report much higher levels of overall life satisfaction. They are the individuals who get promoted faster. They build stable, long-lasting marriages. They remain incredibly resilient when major crises hit. In fact, emotional intelligence is a much better predictor of life success than raw IQ. It matters more than natural talent or an intense work ethic. Yet, most people still ignore this vital skill. They treat emotions as random background noise. True emotional intelligence is not about being nice all the time. It is not about suppressing your feelings or pretending to be happy. It is a highly sophisticated data processing system. It is the engine that drives all human behavior. Mastering this skill gives you the power to navigate massive complexity. It allows you to influence other people effectively. It helps you create elite results in every single area of your life. People who master their emotions do not just feel better internally, they become vastly more powerful. They read social situations with extreme accuracy. They respond to heavy pressure with total clarity instead of wild reactivity. They turn their emotions into a massive competitive advantage. To achieve this, you must first master the art of self-awareness. This requires developing a highly nuanced emotional vocabulary. Think of your emotions like a painter's palette. Most people try to paint their internal life with only 3 or 4 basic colors. They just say they feel bad, mad, glad, or stressed. Real mastery requires a massive spectrum of colors. You must learn to see the exact difference between irritation, frustration, and deep rage. You must recognize the shift between light nervousness, intense anxiety, and total panic. These are not just small differences in language. They are entirely different internal states. Each state requires a unique response. Each one provides specific data about your current environment and your deepest psychological needs. True emotional accuracy also means identifying mixed emotions. Human feelings rarely happen in isolation. You can feel incredibly excited about a new job while also feeling terrified of failure. You can feel deep love for a family member while feeling highly annoyed by their behavior. Unaware people get confused by these contradictions. They feel overwhelmed by the internal clash. Mechanically aware people can sit with complexity. They accept the mixed signals without losing their emotional balance. To build this awareness, you must learn to audit your mind in real time. When a strong wave of emotion hits you, stop. Do not just react. Ask yourself a series of precise internal questions. Ask yourself if this intense feeling is actually about the current moment, or is it a ghost from your past? Is this anger truly about your partner's mistake, or is it a reflection of your overall stress level from work? Is this emotion giving you accurate, useful information, or is it based on outdated, defensive assumptions? This practice leads directly to emotional regulation. Let's be completely clear about what regulation means. It is never about suppressing or locking away your feelings. Suppression is dangerous. It builds internal pressure until you eventually explode. True regulation means learning how to influence your emotional state intentionally. It means experiencing a powerful emotion, understanding its message, and choosing the healthiest way to express it. This process takes consistent daily practice. It requires you to view your mind as an ongoing science experiment. You become the observer of your thoughts, not the victim of them. You start to see the physical sensations in your body before they turn into destructive actions. You notice your chest tightening or your jaw clenching. These physical signs are early warning alerts. They tell you that your emotional system is heating up. When you catch these signs early, you regain your power. You can take a deep breath. You can step away from a toxic conversation. You can change your physical environment. You can rewrite the internal narrative before it ruins your day. You shift from a state of survival to a state of conscious design. As you master your internal world, your external world completely transforms. Your communication becomes incredibly sharp and effective. You stop matching other people's negative energy with your own reactivity. When someone attacks you with anger, you do not fire back with rage. You see through their attack. You recognize their anger as a sign of their own internal pain or fear. This realization gives you an immediate psychological advantage. You can de-escalate conflicts effortlessly. You can lead teams through high-stakes crises without breaking a sweat. This skill creates a massive ripple effect in your professional life. Leaders with high emotional intelligence build fiercely loyal teams. They create workplace environments where people feel safe to innovate and take risks. They can deliver tough feedback without destroying an employee's motivation. They can navigate intense corporate politics with grace and integrity. They do not get derailed by sudden market shifts or unexpected failures. They see every setback as a valuable data point. They pivot quickly, calmly, and strategically. The transformation also reshapes your personal life. Deep, meaningful relationships require intense emotional safety. When you are emotionally intelligent, you provide that safety naturally. You learn to listen to people with your full presence. You do not just listen to formulate your next reply. You listen to understand the unspoken feelings beneath their words. You validate their experiences instead of trying to fix their problems instantly. This builds an unbreakable bond of trust and mutual respect. Achieving this elite level of emotional mastery is a journey divided into clear developmental phases. The first phase is simple cognitive awareness. This is where you learn the theory and science behind human emotions. You understand how the brain processes fear and reward. You learn the definitions of emotional intelligence. This phase is crucial, but knowledge alone is not enough. You cannot read a book about physical fitness and suddenly expect to have muscles. You have to lift the weights. The second phase is active tracking. This is where you bring the theory into your daily life. You start tracking your emotions systematically. You write down your triggers. You document your physical responses. You observe your behavioral patterns without judgment. You become deeply curious about why you act the way you do. The third phase is active experimentation. This is where you test different regulation techniques in real-world scenarios. When you feel anxious before a major presentation, you experiment with deep breathing. When you feel angry after an argument, you test the power of a physical walk. You discover exactly what works for your unique nervous system. The fourth phase is active teaching and modeling. This is a highly accelerated phase of growth. When you explain these concepts to others, you deepen your own understanding. You find areas where your own growth has stalled. You look for organic opportunities to share your wisdom with the people around you. This does not mean preaching or lecturing. It means demonstrating emotional mastery through your everyday actions. People learn infinitely more by watching how you handle a crisis than by listening to your words. Your daily behavior becomes your ultimate teaching tool. The fifth and final phase is complete integration. This is the stage where emotional intelligence becomes your natural state of being. You no longer need to consciously remind yourself to breathe during a conflict. You do not have to force yourself to use nuanced vocabulary. Your brain has successfully rewired itself. You naturally sense emotional dynamics in a room. You regulate your own internal state automatically. You respond to difficult people with effortless grace and wisdom. Reaching this level of integration takes years of steady, patient effort, but it is worth every single ounce of energy you invest. When emotional intelligence becomes second nature, you operate on a completely different level of human effectiveness. Your professional work becomes deeply impactful and highly lucrative. Your personal relationships become profoundly satisfying and peaceful. Your internal resilience becomes absolutely unshakable. But true integration does not mean you stop growing entirely. Even master-level emotional intelligence can be refined throughout a lifetime. There will always be massive new challenges that stretch your capabilities. There will always be complex new relationships that require completely different emotional skills. There will always be deeper levels of human wisdom to discover. The journey of emotional intelligence is not a final destination you reach. It is a conscious way of life you choose every single day. Every single morning, you wake up with a critical choice to make. You can choose to live in emotional unconsciousness, or you can choose to live in emotional wisdom. Every daily interaction is a fresh opportunity to practice your skills. Every difficult challenge is a golden chance to deepen your capabilities. Most people in the world will never take this journey. They will choose the easy path of comfort. They will continue living as lifelong prisoners of their unconscious emotional patterns. They will spend their decades wondering why they cannot build the life they dream of. They will blame external circumstances, bad luck, or other people for their failures. But you have a different opportunity. You now possess the fundamental knowledge and tools to choose a completely different path. The ultimate question is very simple. Will you actually use them? Will you show up and do the daily work required to transform your emotional reality? Will you persist through the inevitable setbacks that come with any major personal change? Will you fully commit to becoming the emotionally intelligent person you are truly capable of being? Remember that your emotional intelligence does not just change your own life. It has a profound effect on everyone whose life you touch. When you develop deep emotional wisdom, you become a powerful source of stability for others. You help create healthy environments where families, teams, and communities can thrive. You become a living model of what is possible when a human being commits to self-mastery. This journey is far bigger than standard personal development. This is about contributing to a more conscious world. It is about building a society where people understand themselves and each other deeply. It is a world where conflicts are resolved through wisdom rather than reactive violence. It is an environment where human potential can finally be fully realized. The ultimate transformation of your life starts right now. It does not start tomorrow. It does not start next week when you think you will have more time or better motivation. It starts this very second. Your emotionally intelligent life is waiting for you to claim it. Take control of your mind, master your internal world, and rewrite your future today.